Hello and welcome.
Today, it's once again time to talk all about sex.
Sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Yeah.
We know this is a subject that y'all want to hear about. We did one episode before where we talked about sex.
But it's been a hot minute. It's been a while.
And we have a lot left to talk about, so we figured it's time.
It's time.
Once again.
Maybe we should do it a little bit more often because I feel like there's always stuff to talk about when it comes to sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're really going to get into it as much as possible. We're going to be, talking about our own experiences and get into the details of things. So if you're, sensitive to that, maybe don't listen to this episode. And also if you're like very young, then maybe this isn't the episode for you either.
And if you know us personally, watch out your own.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Tell me how much you love me. Tell me you'll never doubt me. Tell me how much I changed your life. Say you can't live without me. Tell me.
Would you like to start us off with the first question?
Yes, we have a bunch of questions that we're gonna answer today and discuss. So let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Strap in and strap on, as we say.
This time for real.
Yeah.
If you haven't had top surgery, how do you feel comfortable taking off shirt? Don't own tape. Oh, I would say that tape is like... Oh no, did I lock my phone? Okay, good. I would say that tape is like the best thing or the nicest thing to wear during sex because you can still take your shirt off and you're still binding. Even though, even if you have a bigger chest, I know it can be uncomfortable, maybe harder to bind, but it's still more comfortable also to wear that compared to like a binder. But if you don't have tape, I'd say, communicate with your partner. Maybe it's easier if it's like really dark in the room. Maybe it's easier if you lay down or are in like a certain position that you're like, okay, I feel comfortable taking off my shirt right now. Or just try it for like 30 seconds, 1 minute. Be like, okay, I wanna try something. I just wanna try taking off my shirt without binding just for like a minute. I'm gonna set a timer and then I'm gonna take it back on or put it back on, see how it feels. And then maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, maybe you could try it again, Just experiment a little bit, test the waters, and always like communicate with the one you're having sex with or whatever you want to do. Do you have any tips?
This specific question? Maybe not.
But maybe like, because I've thought about this also for like a trans woman who's not on hormones yet. Maybe she's like has a flat chest. How would you do? If like maybe,
How would you do?
Like
Would you when you?
what can you do that
Well, I mean,
makes you
here's
feel
the
like
thing,
sexy
right?
and,
So I feel like in those scenarios, it's kind of like, an easy thing that you could do is try to find like a nice lingerie that you feel comfortable in or something like that. Like even if there's not a lot maybe going on in the boobage area, for example.
Maybe still have like
you can still feel like
bralette
sexy
or something.
Yeah, like something like that. Because also there are a lot of cis girls who don't necessarily have all that much going on either.
Yeah.
So
like before I had top surgery, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
It was literally like if I had like I used to wear like bralettes sometimes, and it was like almost completely flat.
yeah. So I mean, there's no shame in that, you know what I mean? So but just do the things that make you feel comfortable, and that can really be like wearing something that makes you feel more feminine looking or whatever that may be, like I would say that's a good idea. If you're very uncomfortable about it, maybe you can wear like a cunty little crop top or something like that, like that makes you feel a little bit more sexy. If there's stuff going on, you can be focus more on the nether regions of your body, for example.
Yeah. Or maybe if you want to be like, if you want to be fully topless, then maybe the person you're having sex with, you could be like, okay, could you touch my chest as if like there's there's boobs.
Exactly.
Does the insecurity about not having the genitals you identify with go away after transitioning?
Oh. No.
Basically, like, does dysphoria get better after
Right.
transitioning?
I mean, I would say dysphoria gets better after transitioning, but when it comes to that specific part, unless you've had like surgery, I guess if that's what you want to have, then I don't know. It depends. Like,
I mean, I know that for some people it really helps. Like when you're on T, when you've had top surgery, that the bottom dysphoria kind of goes away a little bit because you just feel more manly and you can connect with that part of yourself a bit more.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, also, I think it depends on like what kind of connection you have to it. Like, if you have a lot of dysphoria about that, for example, could try to, you know, just work on the other things first and see how it feels. Like sometimes it does get better and I know a lot of people come to terms more with that part as well as your transition, you know, progresses as well. And also like a lot of it is a mental thing. Like if you start, you know, if everything else is already done and then maybe that's the last part, if you really feel like you're dysphoric about it, then yeah, maybe surgery might be more so the option that you want to look for. But if it starts to lessen, then maybe that doesn't necessarily have to be something you need to do. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's I think it depends a lot from person to person, to be honest.
But I think like in general, maybe it doesn't like completely go away like bottom dysphoria, but maybe gets a little bit better. Like for me personally, it was a lot worse like when I was pre-T or even the beginning months of T when I hadn't had top surgery compared to now surgery. So now it's like still bad, but it's better.
Okay. Yeah. I see that.
In conclusion, penetrative sex is overrated and the patriarchy has struck again.
Valid. I hear that.
Yeah. What is sex for you?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. Honestly, for me, sex is like I think
it's like a flower.
No, I think it's changed a lot over the years. Like before, I've had like this kind of disassociation in a way with sex that has kind of just been like a thing to do based on your urges kind of vibe. Like it hasn't meant that much to me. I think a lot of it comes from trauma also, to be fair, and like attachment issues and stuff like that. But I think over the past few months it's gotten to, like, it's starting to change a bit for me, and the idea of it has changed a lot for me. Before I would kind of just see it as like a fun thing. It was almost like a hobby in a way, like honestly, like more of an activity kind of, more
like
so
a
than like a connection. And I think lately I've been rethinking a lot in my life, and I've been rethinking like sex and sexuality a lot as well, because I'm kind of like, okay, but do I want that to be my connection to it? No, not really. So I've been really trying to see it more as this kind of beautiful thing and like more connective kind of thing to do with a partner that you care about, you know, instead of it just being like let's just do it to do it kind of. Because I feel like that has led me to so many moments where I'm like, did I actually feel like I wanted to do that? No, not really. But I just felt that in the moment, and then after I was kind of like, oh, that was not necessary. So for me, it's kind of changing a little bit. I'm kind of like, I don't fully know what I think of it and what I feel about it right now, but it's very much so a work in progress kind of situation for me right now. But I still see it as something very, very fun and very nice and enjoyable if you do it right and you do things in the way that makes you feel good, you know. And I will say there have been many moments that I have enjoyed sexually that have made me feel very content and very good about myself as well. It's not always just been like a bad thing. It's also been very fun. I mean, I do like sex. So there's that.
Nice.
What about you?
I think for me, I also lately have been trying to kind of rewire my brain or rewire the definition of sex. And like typically people only count it as sex if there's penetration or if there's genitals touching or stuff like that. And I've been listening to a podcast recently about, it's like a psychologist, and she's talking to like couples. So they also have like episodes about sex and stuff. And she's really good at explaining sex as more of a like more like playing with each other, or like exploring, like a little journey, a little moment you have together where there's no goal and there's no, if once we do this it's sex. If we aren't able to do that, then it's failed. You know, because that can also lead to, especially if you're trans and you have like dysphoria and stuff, it leads to seeing a lot of sex or a lot of intimacy moments as failed. Like I wasn't able to complete this, and then you feel bad, or even like, you know. So something that I've been trying to do lately then is just to like have an intimate moment, and that whatever that is, it counts as sex, even if it's like we're caressing each other, or like giving a massage, like a sensual massage, or just trying to be in the moment and exploring, like taking it step by step of whatever we want to do in that moment. Like for example, if we start like making out and then we feel like we want to lay in another position and do that, or maybe take off an item of clothing and maybe touch there or that or stuff like that, and just explore and just play with each other, and then maybe we have a break and we talk about something, or like, you know, stuff like that. I feel like that's a lot nicer, because otherwise it can also be very repetitive. Like first we make out, then we do this, and then we have penetrative sex, and then once you come, we're done, and then that's it. No, then it becomes like a schedule, and then it's not fun anymore.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Do you also feel like it's, because I feel like that can be so different in like a relationship, or like a, like whatever, if you're meeting somebody repetitively versus if you're meeting also like new people. I feel like it can change a lot also, because if it's with new people, it's kind of like, okay, well now we are on the set timeline of what we're gonna do, which is normal sex to most people, or what people consider normal sex. But versus like when you're in a relationship, I feel like there's so much more room to play around and try new things, to like kind of figure out what you like, and also make it more of a fun activity together, that you're doing it together and enjoying it together, and like it becomes more of a fun thing, like and that's when I feel like you really can have like amazing times with your partner, you know what I mean?
I also think it's really easy when you're in a relationship that it ends up being like you have an order of things, or like it becomes the same thing every time, and you initiate by just being like, we want to have sex, you know. That's it.
For sure.
So I think by communicating and being like, okay, I want to explore, I want to do different things, then it becomes like amazing. Is it a canon event to think you're ace before realizing you're trans?
Oh,
I think a lot of people feel that way.
I think so too. I've read a lot of people feel that way. And I think it's quite common because you feel so disconnected to your sexuality with your identity, I think. Like, because you can't, like I know a lot of people can't imagine having sex as, let's say that you're, you know, for example, female to male, whatever. So in that scenario, that you cannot see yourself having sex as a girl. But you can like the idea of having sex as a guy. But you haven't connected the dots yet. So then you're kind of like, well, then I don't want to have sex. Or like that idea of sex sounds awful, for example. I feel like that's fairly common. I can't say that I related to that. But I can see why people think that, or feel that way.
For me, it was like, I know I want to have sex, but I feel very uncomfortable, and I don't want anything done to me. Like I want to have sex with a person. Like I'm attracted to this person, and I want to have sex with them, but I don't want to be me while having sex. Like I don't feel comfortable. So then I just thought something was wrong with me, or that like, you know, I had to, I don't know. And then I also know that some people before transitioning, they're not like, for example, if I'm trans guy, or for example, you know, if I was a trans guy,
No, possibly.
before transitioning, and I'm interested in women, but I feel uncomfortable with my body, then I might feel more comfortable having sex with a man because that makes more sense in my brain for some reason.
Yeah, but then
But then it's not gonna be nice.
no,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, to summarize, yes, probably fairly common. I think a lot of people experience that.
Yeah. How is your sex stick?
Huh?
I don't know. Also, how is your sex stick?
So tell me, how is your sex stick?
It's lovely. In what age should you start experimenting for the first time?
Ooh, great question. I honestly think it's kind of dumb to put an age where you should or should not. It's really up to the person.
When you're 18 and 4 months and 23 days. So
Yeah.
that's the perfect moment.
Perfect moment. Gotta put it in your calendar right now. No, but I feel like it really depends. Like some people are mentally prepared to do it earlier. Some people are not. And that's totally fine. I feel like you really need to tune in to yourself and how you feel about it. If anything, I started quite young. I'm not going to lie. Like I think I had sex the first time when I was like 14. And I kind of regret that. I'm not going to lie. Like I wish I would have waited a little bit more because it kind of put some bad like I think I almost disconnected from what I was doing in a way mentally. It wasn't like I was like, okay, I feel very ready. I feel like this is what I want to do. I felt like more of a societal pressure to do it early. It was kind of like almost like a bragging thing, which I don't like the idea of at all.
No, I think in that age is like, you know, people are starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you want to like be a part of it and be like, yeah, I did that, you know, so that you don't really do it because you really want to, maybe more so because you want to say that you've done it or something.
Yeah.
And now that I see like 14-year-olds, I'm like, oh my God, they're children.
They're
Oh, no.
teeny tiny. Yeah, that's the thing. Because it's like, my suggestion is to just wait and feel it out and try to find a person where you feel like, okay, this is somebody I actually want to do it with. And I feel like, you know, we've taken our time, we've gotten to know each other, feels comfortable, feels safe.
Yeah.
And go from there. I don't think there's a set age. Like even if you're 30 and haven't done it with anybody yet, still wait until you find somebody that feels right with, you know.
There's no
reason
rush.
to pressure yourself or
even though
rush
it might
into it.
it might feel like a rush, especially when you're a teenager. Maybe all of your friends have done it and then you're the one left, and then you might feel like, oh shit, well, I have to do something, you know. I think it just feels like that in the moment, but try to resist.
Yeah.
Unless you really want to do it with someone. But
Exactly.
we can also, when you feel ready, just experiment on your own.
Yeah. And
Explore
also
your body
if you
by
feel
yourself.
if you feel ready early, like also by all means explore. Don't be afraid to play into your sexuality and your, you know, like exploration. Exploration and curiosity is very healthy. You know what I mean? So there's that layer too. Like don't be afraid to do it, but just try to do it in a way that you feel comfortable and safe doing it, for example.
Yeah.
Like maybe don't go as a 14-year-old and have sex with people who are more than double your age. That might not be a good idea. I have done that and I regret it a lot. So there's layers to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to your heart.
Yeah. And listen to your favorite trannies on this podcast. Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of questions, or like I'd say maybe 50% of the questions are just, how do you deal with dysphoria during sex? So I feel like even though we covered that in the previous episode and we talk about it sometimes like randomly during the podcast, I think we should still list some things that could be helpful or that helps us with that.
Yeah. There are a lot of different things that you can do and different steps that you can take towards like having a better relationship to sex as a trans person and trying to avoid certain moments that could make you dysphoric. I think one of the biggest parts is also like finding people who truly understand your transness, or like if you talk to the person about like, this is what makes me feel good, this is what helps me feel comfortable during sex. Like communication truly is key. I know it's said a lot when it comes to sex, and it's everyone says that, yada yada yada, cliche, but it is very true. I mean, it's there for a reason, right? So for example, one thing that you might want to tell a partner could be like, hey, just so you know, like, I don't necessarily like being touched in these areas because that specifically makes me think about that maybe I have a little bit more, I don't know, like maybe I have a little bit of, I don't know, like it could be anything, but like rougher skin there, or I have a little bit
eczema. Don't touch me.
Like, I don't know, it could be anything that makes you feel like, oh, okay, maybe I have some dysphoria connected to that. And like, just let them know, like, hey, like, you know, I would prefer if you touch me here and here instead of there and there. And kind of just be open and honest about those things. I know it can be a little hard to talk about, but it does help, like, especially during the actual act. Like, it makes you feel a little bit more connected in the moment, and you're just enjoying yourself and having fun. Instead of thinking about, that person was very like on my nether region when I didn't necessarily want that. Maybe I wanted like more of focus on the back instead of the front, or whatever. This and that, you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely something that helps for me. I know. I hate when somebody's like just does whatever they want without really kind of asking me, and kind of just treats me as like an object. That can make me feel a little bit like, oh, okay, this is maybe not what I wanted. And I'm a very like free and open person when
Would
it comes
you, in
to
that
sex,
case, say something in the moment, be like, don't touch me there, or
I can sometimes be like, hey, can we chill a little, or like, can you chill when it comes to that? Like, I would prefer if we do more of this, for example. And usually it's fine. Usually it's not a problem. But yeah, some people go ham right away. But I think now I've definitely gotten to a point where I can just say what I think without it being an issue. But before, I know it was very hard, so I can understand why people find it scary to do that too. So
especially in the middle of it.
Exactly.
But, something like if you are dominant, or if you want to be dominant in bed, which you can help with dysphoria. If you're like a trans guy, for example, if you want to be a top, then also if someone touches you where you don't want to be touched, you can just move their hand to where you want it to be, and try to have it more as that move that you do, to be like, I want you to touch me here, I want you to do this, or I want you to lay here, and then try to flip the situation instead of, oh, why is she doing that? It makes me uncomfortable, or he, or whatever, and be like, no, do this,
True. I mean, a lot of communication is also nonverbal. It doesn't always have to be spoken out loud necessarily. Sometimes you can just be like, move their hand, like you said, like to another area. And I feel like that most people pick up on it, not always, but it is definitely a good way to kind of avoid it becoming like a thing, and just progressing the sex further, kind of.
For sure.
I agree with you.
But if it's like too uncomfortable, then of course you like say something or stop it, or but something that me and my girlfriend do like every time after sex is to talk about it and be like, okay, which parts did you like the most specifically? Like, oh, I really liked it when you held my neck like that. Please do that again. Or I didn't like when you did this because it made me feel like that. So maybe next time don't do that. Or like go through our favorite moments, and then maybe like there's a lot going on in your head during sex, and it can be hard to get out of it. So if that happens in the middle of it, then it also helps to just slow down, and then maybe be like, okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes. Can you just like caress my face or something? And then just try to focus on it, and then it's easier to like, okay, get in touch with your body, stay in the moment, don't disappear into your thoughts. And then also after sex, if you're having a conversation with the person, you can communicate like what was going on in your head. And then maybe that person can also do that, because it also helps to just know what's going on, and then also what triggers it, so that in the next time you can maybe avoid it, or maybe the person notices when you start thinking too much, and then they know what to do when that happens.
For sure.
I think I mentioned this before when it comes to dysphoria during sex, but the positions that you do, if you try to, switch it up a bit and maybe focus more on, like, I'm just going to use the example here that you're a trans guy, you want to be dominant or a top or whatever, and then you have a partner who's maybe more feminine. Then in that case, it's easier if you choose positions where you're like the guy in the situation, even though it's difficult. For example, if you're like getting head, then I find it easier if you're like standing up even, or kind of if you like put your arms on your head and then maybe look down, or stuff like that. Definitely helps actually to feel more dominant and more like a guy, basically, even though maybe you don't have a dick, but it still feels like it. And
sure.
maybe if you're not comfortable with being fully naked and someone giving you head, then maybe you can have your underwear and they can just do something else there. Like, it doesn't have to be all about the genitals. It can also be them just kissing your legs or just kissing your stomach, That's also nice, and it also counts as sex. Does testosterone or estrogen make you come faster or slower? Have you noticed a difference?
I haven't noticed a difference.
Oh, really?
Or, I mean, for me, it's also like sex has changed in the sense of when I'm not on hormones, I have a very high sex drive. Very high. When I'm on hormones, that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
But I haven't noticed anything different when it comes to that. But that was also, I'm not necessarily, when I have sex, that's not a goal for me per se. Like, I enjoy the actual act and the connection more than that moment specifically. For me personally, that's what I like that. But I haven't noticed a difference in speed or whatnot. I think that depends a lot more just on what you're doing and who you're doing it with and so on, and the day and la la la. So I haven't noticed a difference, but I mean, I'm sure that there could be some kind of biological difference when it comes to it, but I don't know. I haven't thought about it that much, to be honest. What about you? You notice a difference?
Yeah. I know that when you start to eat, there is like a big difference with like how the orgasm feels, and also how fast you get there and how it feels after. It feels more, it's faster and then it's more intense, but then it stops sooner. Like it's a lot shorter. It like, yeah, it feels more like a guy orgasm, I guess. And then afterwards, what's it called when like after you come and then you feel like, I'm not really in the mood anymore.
Like the come down?
Yeah. Feels a little bit like that. So that, I would say, happens to most people who start T. But then if you also have a lot of dysphoria during sex, then that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to come faster. Like for me, that doesn't happen to me that much during sex either. Is not a goal for me either. Because it has been before, but then I just get frustrated when it doesn't happen because I just think too much about like, why am I so dysphoric, and and I just get frustrated, and then it just makes the whole experience worse. And it's better to, if I come, then that's nice, but I don't have to,
Yeah.
And then it might happen because you're more relaxed, and if it doesn't, then you're still like, oh, it was still nice. But yeah, I'd say it's still easier to finish compared to before. Plus, you also have, like, when you get bottom growth, you have more sensation, and you just feel more in general. So then, yeah, that also means you're going to come faster, typically.
Fair. Yeah, that's true. I get that.
Yeah. What do you do when your partner is the dead body in bed type?
That's a great question. I feel like if anything, again here, it's kind of like talking a little bit about what you expect from sex, or like how you want it to be, you know what I mean? Like if your partner is kind of not doing anything and not moving, then maybe that's something you want to bring up and be like, hey, like I want to feel a little bit more activated. I want to feel a little bit more like we're having a passionate exchange, like when you when you are just laying there and not doing anything, I feel like I don't feel connected to what we're doing. Do you think we could try something like this? And maybe you could show like a different suggestion of what you could do instead, or like maybe put them in a position that you prefer, or, do something while standing up, for example. I don't know. You could do like different things in that way.
Yeah. Or like in the midst of it.
Yeah.
Be like, take their hand where you want it to be and then ask them to do something.
Yeah. For sure.
Because I think for most people who are like that, I guess some people are just less expressive and some people are more expressive. But then I don't think anyone naturally just lays there and don't move. I think in that case, it's about them like not being comfortable or being shy or maybe not knowing what to do. So then like talking about it or helping them in some way could definitely help, or just letting them know that I want you to do more. Doesn't have to be crazy. But yeah, letting them know what you want them to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And then trying. Like personally, I'm not very expressive during, like I don't talk a lot, I don't make a lot of sounds, stuff like that. But I would still like to, but I'm scared. And I think for me, I don't want to come off as like cringe or like that ruins the moment and stuff like that. So I think daring to do it anyways is like a good start.
Yeah.
Like something small. Like if you're the dead person.
That sounds fucking horrible.
If you are the person who doesn't move that much, then maybe the first small step could be like, okay, I'm gonna grab their ass or something.
Right.
And then that's it. And then next time I'll try doing something else, maybe like slapping their ass or something.
Who knows?
If that's what they want. And then maybe the person who wrote this question, maybe you could ask this person to take those steps and like do that.
Another idea, and you can tell me what you think about this idea too. Okay. Another idea of what you could do is, for example, get like these you know how they have like these dice with like different positions and stuff like that? Or you could get like these like fun little card games, for example, where it's like, you have to try this kind of a role play or this kind of a position or like trying different things and make it into a little bit more of like a game and get them kind of a little bit more activated and interested in the actual act, instead of it just becoming now we're just gonna do a little sex here. Like maybe that's not necessarily the vibe. So maybe you need a little bit more, activation into it to get it a little bit more fun and flowing and create that vibe, and maybe make it into like you could make it into like a romantic evening by like, hey, I got some of these things I want to show you, like, and then you can maybe, put out some candles or something, create the vibe, create the energy, and then be like, I'm ready to have a good time tonight. How you feel?
Roll the dice. Yeah.
Maybe something like that, could also help.
I think if I did that, I think it would be a turn off for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it doesn't feel spontaneous, then it feels like, okay, let's look at how are they doing this? Okay, wait, if I'm like that, and then okay,
But what if that's kind of fun? I feel like that could be like the thing itself that makes it like kind of funny, so that it becomes a little bit like, okay, let's make this a thing.
Yeah, I guess for some people, but
I think it depends on each person. But I'm just saying,
or maybe just like as a starting position that you're like, let's
try this one.
Let's start here, and then we'll just explore after that. Someone just said, I was scared of having sex with a trans mask, but it was and is the best sex I ever had.
Oh.
Getting head as a trans man makes me feel super femme. How do you switch POV? And I think we could take the same for like, if you're a trans woman, you want to get head. How do you feel feminine while doing it?
So I think it really depends. I think, for example, positioning can be quite important with that. So
spread them legs.
But maybe make it feel more like they're like for example, for trans femmes in this scenario, maybe like make it feel like they're eating you out rather than,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like a little bit more of that vibe, and make it feel a little bit more like, okay, you know, I'm here. They're doing their thing on me, whatever. But
I think that's the key, like with anything. Like if you're with a trans woman, just treat her parts as a pussy, you know? If you're with a trans man, then his T dick is like the biggest dick you've ever seen in your life.
I know. Very that. And not like in a performative way, just in a like maybe how the way you go about it, maybe the kind of like the caressing that comes with it, or like the touch and the way you approach it. It doesn't have to necessarily be like, you don't have to be like, I'm about to lick your pussy. Like, it doesn't have to be that, but it can be very much like, you know, the way you would position your hands, or the way you would like grab a hold and do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're not like, if that's not something you want to do, you shouldn't be expected to either. Or like, as the trans person in the scenario, like if someone wants to do it and you're not comfortable with it, obviously you don't have to do it. But like, there are ways to make it more enjoyable and to just kind of lessen the dysphoria around it. If there's, you know.
I think also like what you say during, like, I think it depends on the person, but if you're like, oh, you're so wet or something, maybe it could help also, like saying stuff like that, even though it might not be 100% true, or like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'd say if you're a trans guy, then, or trans mask, if you're on T, then it's a bit easier because then you have bottom growth, which makes it like, then it feels more like getting a blowjob, especially if you ask the person to like, okay, just suck on it, you know?
Suck on it.
And leave the other parts alone, like, you know, and then also lay in a position that feels nice and that feels more like, you know, like you don't have to spread your legs all that much. If that makes you dysphoric, then just also, like I said before, like standing up, or even, I don't know how much detail I'm going to say because it feels so weird. But like, I haven't done this, but it's just an idea that what, you know, how some people, like when you give a blowjob, but it's more like you're kind of fucking their mouth. You could do something like that. Because also when you have bottom growth, that is like, you get harder and harder up until you come. And if you are in an elevated position, it also there's more blood flow and it gets a bit bigger. So if you're laying on your back, it's not going to be as big as if you're laying on top. Like in my experience, and based on what I've heard from other trans guys, may not be the case for everyone. So if you're in a position where you're on top somehow, it helps, because then it's going to be bigger, and then it's going to be easier to, you know, for the person you're with, so that they can do their thing, and it just feels better and looks nicer, and then you can just, you know. Yeah, and then also what they say to you, like how they communicate about what they're seeing or feeling and stuff like that. I gotta hope not people we know don't listen to this.
Hey, if they do, you're very welcome. Enjoy. Have fun.
Yep.
I don't feel like that's too out there though. That's not crazy.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay.
Chill. Chill, bro.
Ciao.
Ciao. All right. Okay, so I have some questions too. Are you ready?
From the Discord group.
Okay. All right. So, how do you manage anxiety and feeling rejected when your partner doesn't want to have sex? Like, how do you not overthink the whole situation or regret asking?
Like if your partner is trans. Or is this person trans?
This person is.
Oh.
Like, as in that they might not, I don't know, maybe
Just
not want to
Yeah.
have sex with you at that moment.
Then you might feel like rejected or like.
Yeah. I think one thing that's really important to remember in that scenario is no one owes anybody anything. Like, just because one is trans doesn't necessarily mean that that you are, or like that somebody, it doesn't have to mean that the person is rejecting you because you're trans, even though it might feel that way. But it could also be that that person, you know, is dealing with their own stuff and doesn't want to have sex in that moment, and just kind of see it more as that way. And if the situation is that they don't want to have sex with you because you're trans, then, you know, then maybe that's not a person that you should be with, for example.
I think usually like the case is just that they're not like in the mood, which happens to all couples. Or
exactly,
like for example, if I'm with my girlfriend and she doesn't want to, then I can definitely feel that way. I'm like, oh, if I was a cis man, she would want to. You know, when obviously that's not true. So then for me it helps when she tells me like why she doesn't want to, or like even just reassuring me that it doesn't have to do with that, it's just that, you know, I've had a long day and I'm really tired. Then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Sometimes I feel that way. So that can definitely help instead of saying just, no, I don't want to, you know.
I think it's also just, it is important to also like always just be mindful of one's own insecurities, that you don't let that take over a relationship where it's kind of like, okay, well, there are two people in this relationship. It's not just one person deciding when you're gonna have sex. Like there needs to be consent, and there needs to be a mutual understanding and a want to do it, you know. And but yeah, I can understand like that there can be anxiety and, you know, a feeling of rejection happening, but it's just like sometimes you would have to deal with that and just kind of understand that like, okay, well, that's not where it's necessarily coming from. It just that day maybe that they don't feel like doing it. I understand. However, there are obviously situations where, so let's say that it's not a partner that you've been with for a long time. It's just somebody that, you know, you're interested in, and maybe you approach them about, you know, meeting up and stuff, and somebody's like, well, unfortunately, like, I don't want to because you're trans or something like that. Let's say that would be the scenario. Dealing with rejection there, that's a different story. Like then in that scenario, like I understand that there can be a lot of feelings around that. Definitely happens to all trans people, I would say. Like there are a lot of people who don't always necessarily want to be with a trans person, which, you know, that's also a fact of life. Like not everyone's going to want to be with everyone, but you just have to see it as like, okay, well, you know what, fair enough. They don't want to be with me, so there's no point in me wanting to be with them either. Like you owe yourself that to like just kind of remind yourself and be like, well, them not wanting to be with me has no infliction and no it's not a reflection of my worth or my attraction, like attractiveness or whatever. It just has to do with, okay, there's no compatibility there, right? And I think it's just important to ground yourself in like, just because one person doesn't want to be with you or does not want to have sex with you does not mean other people won't either. So cut yourself the loss, move on, and find somebody who actually wants to be with you, even if it's hard. And it can obviously affect how you feel about yourself. And I really get that. But just know there are other people, there will always be other people who are interested and want to be with somebody. And honestly, if that person is on the fence about having sex with you, it's probably not going to be good sex anyway. So you're probably just sparing yourself some time. That's how I like to think about it, at least. Okay. This person has like 2 questions in one.
Okay.
1. Often one is more passing and fitting into gendered beauty standards when dressed than when one eventually undresses as it gets to sex. So I feel there's the danger that the other person might find me attractive when we meet, but lose that attraction in this vulnerable moment when we undress right as we're about to have sex. Is that a reasonable fear? Is it a fear you share? And how do you deal with it? Of course, the bottom line is, thank God the trash is taking itself out. But that doesn't make me feel less vulnerable. I think that is definitely a fear that a lot of people have. I think it's a fear that is not always, or like a lot of time, I think that's more in our heads than anything else. I think a lot of times if you've already decided, and like if you have a connection with somebody and they're a normal human being that's a decent person, you know, people's bodies look different. Everyone's bodies look like all bodies look different, right? And people actually have a lot of appreciation for other people that you might not even see or understand. If that person is interested in you and there is a connection, there is an attraction, then I don't think that's necessarily going to go away just because you get undressed. Like, people will usually enjoy it anyway. And if the case is that, like, let's say that it does disappear, that's also part of sex. Like, I feel like people sometimes forget that things can always change. Consent can always be withdrawn, for example. Like, and that's not always a reflection of you. It just means that circumstances change. And it's just important to be like respectful, mindful of other people. You know what I mean? I think to me, that's something that I always think about and I'm always very like conscious of. Like, just because a person said yes from the beginning does not mean that it's a yes all the time. And it doesn't always mean that there's going to be something there later on. But I think that something you can do in those scenarios is just try to be authentically you and work on the things that might make you feel more comfortable and more secure in yourself, and realize that sex should be enjoyable, sex should be fun, and the person that you're with should appreciate you for you. And if they don't, like you said, like, okay, well, the trash is getting taken out for me. You know? So it's just good to remind yourself, and good to have people around you who also remind you of that too. And find somebody to talk about, like, or talk to about these things as well. Like having a friend that you can just be like, yeah, so this happened, and then we were talking, and then this motherfucker didn't like what he saw, but you know, it's okay. I'm gonna just find the next person. Kind of vibe. In my opinion. How do you feel about that?
I think, like you said, that we exaggerate in our minds kind of how we look. Like in my head, my hips are like gigantic, and I'm always like, every time I undress, I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna think I look like a woman, you know? But then to her, I just look like the manliest man she's ever seen, you know? So I think we don't see ourselves the same way that other people see us.
For sure.
Especially if it's someone that has gotten to know you a little bit, and then your personality plays a big role in like how they see you, which also includes like how you look after you undress. They're gonna be like, oh, she just looks like that, but I'm still attracted to her because she's her, you know? And then something else that might help, at least a little bit, like to start with, at least for me, has also been to like, you know, you can always like be under the covers, and just be very intimate there, and try to be in the moment and like touch each other and have like a cozy, intimate moment, or even like turn the lights down a bit. You know, could help relieve the pressure and the like anxiety. Even though after some time, of course, it's good to like explore and, you know, try to what's it called, challenge yourself a little bit. But it's a good place to start.
The second part of that question was, I hope it's not a stupid question or too blunt. Once I'm on estrogen, may cause me issues in the realm of erectile dysfunction. And I think a lot of trans girls worry about that. And I think, you know, obviously it depends. I know a lot of people do have that.
What does that mean? Or like,
as in, it's hard to get it up.
Okay, but how does that affect?
Like, once you start taking estrogen, does that happen more?
But like, okay, if it happens, then what's the harm? If you don't want to like penetrate someone, for example.
Well, maybe they do.
Oh, okay.
It could be the case. I mean, for some people, they still want to, you know, do that kind of stuff.
So this might be a stupid question. I don't know that much, okay? So you can't come if you're not hard.
You can. It's very hard. And it becomes a lot more difficult. I guess technically you could, but it's not going to be really the same vibe.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, yes, you can. But like, when it comes to erectile dysfunction, it could be, for example, like let's say that it becomes hard to keep it hard consistently, for example, while you're
Okay.
having sex. So that might be, a struggle.
Okay.
And it depends. I mean, I know a lot of trans girls still want to be able to use what they got going on down there, and some people don't, and that's fine too. Of course, it does change depending on person, depending on the person. So sometimes for some people, it does affect a lot, and it's a lot harder to get hard, for example. And for some people, it doesn't affect it at all. I know there are some people who, for example, do take, erectile dysfunction drugs like Viagra or similar stuff to counteract that issue and get access to that if that's, something they want. And yeah, I mean, if that happens, there are, options to look into, and maybe you could also look into your dosage and see if there are other things that might work. You can try different hormone solutions and see what's, important, what's not. I think for a lot of people, it's not an issue. It just maybe doesn't happen as frequently. So like, let's say maybe you don't get in the mood and as horny all the time, and then maybe you don't put that much focus on, taking care of the issue, so to speak. Whereas, I don't know. I think it depends a lot on the person and your biology, kind of, and what your body will, how your body will react, basically. But it is absolutely a possibility that it might get affected, and it's an absolute possibility that it might not. So it depends.
I just remember something that I wanted to say about if you have a lot of dysphoria, something that can help.
Yeah.
It's also, if you're alone, to take pictures of yourself, kind of doesn't have to be full on nudes, but something that makes you feel very sexy, and just look at them sometimes and be remind yourself damn, I look hot, or I look really masculine or feminine, or whatever it is that you want to, how you want to feel, and that can definitely help. Or even filming yourself from a certain angle while you're, touching yourself or something. Even though in theory it feels horrible doing that, but it can definitely help. You don't have to film your genitals or anything. You could just be if you're shirtless, or maybe you have trans tape on, and if maybe it's your back, and you can see how you look from other perspectives, and it can help you realize that, oh, okay, I don't look like a woman, or I don't look like a man, or whatever it is. Because sometimes we think, for example, I have a lot of the questions where I'm a trans guy, I feel like a lesbian when I have sex, or I feel like a woman.
Yeah.
Which I felt a lot too. But then when I look at pictures or videos, I'm okay, I just remind myself that, oh, I really don't look like a woman having sex with a woman, So that can definitely help also. Even though it seems scary or nasty, or you can just delete it afterwards,
For sure.
Have you done that?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
You've taken nudes?
Oh my God, crazy. Yeah. I think also what can also help with that is taking a video or taking a photo or whatever, not looking at it for a while, and then looking in a few weeks. Because then you look back at it and you're a little bit more removed from the scenario. And then you're like, oh, that's not bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same as when you look back at a photo from a year ago of yourself, and you're kind of oh, I looked, for example, I looked smaller than I thought, or I looked different than I thought in my head when I took the photo.
Yeah.
So same kind of principle can apply.
Is that all?
I think that is all for this episode. Since there were so many questions today, we're not going to do a listener's question, because all of these were.
Hopefully we covered a lot. We still have things but I feel at some point we should have a guest, because we don't really get into, okay, what if you're gay, because we're both straight and we only have experience in that. So what if you want to bottom as a trans guy? How's that like? Or what do you do and stuff like that? Which I don't feel that we can answer. So it would be nice to have, I guess we can talk about it, or, something like that. We can get more into the stuff that we weren't able to cover.
For sure. All right. Well, thank y'all all for listening to this episode. If you have any more questions on this topic, feel free to DM us on our Instagram, Trans and Transparent. And don't forget to follow, like, comment, and let us know what you thought about today's episode. If you have any thoughts,
Give it a like if you appreciated our openness and honesty.
Trans and Transparent. Mind you.
Transparency.
All right. Well, we love all you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
La mini prête à Paris, roule le tapis, je suis une lady. Je suis une lady.